What happens when truth doesn't matter anymore?
Good morning. Welcome to The Outsiders, another episode. We have today in studio our special guest co-host, because Kim, she's, a little vacation time. For today, Marvin Doc Cheatham.
Good morning, everyone.
We got a superstar in here, a celeb. He's a part of the Outsider team now, as an honorary member of the Outsiders, Doc Cheatham, and we will have Marlo Hargrove of FACE calling in later in the show. And first off, I want to say, I just want to get this out of the way, okay? Just get it right out of the way. The Eagles were robbed. That was a robbery that took place Super Bowl Sunday. The referees getting involved in the game. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, we're going to be discussing today the BGE debacle and our first installment ever. Because, I get on the guys out there and elected officials, and so I get on them and I take them to task. I've got Antonio Hayes' man card in the man card box and tore Slim Shady's, tore his man card up. That's Mayor Scott. And today we're going to have a first installment of the Barracuda of the week. So there are some ladies out there in some positions and they're not really doing right. Barracuda of the week. And to balance things out, we will have our Lady of Excellence name of the week as well. So we're going to balance things out. And I want to go over a situation we have with one of Governor Westmore's appointees. This guy, Vincent Schiraldi, to be named the head of the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services. This is a New York de Blasio / Mayor Eric Adams reject. And I'm getting this information in, and it looks like he attempted to close the New York jail and eliminate the practice of solitary confinement, as well as managing to anger the unions. So that's not good. New York as well, that's not Doc. The unions, come on. Representing jail employees before the new mayor, Eric Adams. And Eric Adams was a police officer with the New York Police Department. And he became mayor and fired him. Canned this guy, Schiraldi, after he took office in late 2021. And so, we're bringing this guy in. They're attempting to anyway. The Maryland Senate Executive Nominations Committee quietly held off approving 2 of Governor Westmore's agency heads Monday evening, including the at times controversial yet nationally recognized appointee named to head the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services. And it looks like this Senator Stephen Hershey Jr., Upper Shore Republican minority leader, made the motion to hold Schiraldi's name, saying, "We have some senators that still have not been able to meet with him." And Doc, have you ever heard of something in regards to this Schiraldi guy believes that your brain doesn't mature until you're 25 years of age. And apparently he believes, I guess they're going to try to push this 21. You can't get prosecuted until you're 21. But this guy believes 25. So if he had his way, you wouldn't prosecute anyone, any of the youth or any young folks up to 25 years of age.
Well, I think the concerns that are being registered are timely. I think, one of the things that is incumbent upon any elected official, in this case the senators, they need to ask the hard questions, because this message that's being sent by this nominee, and I'm a strong supporter of the newly elected governor, but I think his nominations have to go through scrutiny like everybody else. But this guy that has been nominated, what is he telling us? You're not intelligent enough to go into the military. You're not intelligent enough to drive an automobile. It's saying, if you're saying mentally you're not ready at 25, I think he might need to have his brain checked. Because I really think he's sending the wrong message.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know what his credentials are, but I don't think he is of the history within his education that he can make that type of analysis to say that, all that we've done for hundreds and hundreds of years, it all needs to be thrown away because he doesn't think we're mentally ready at age 25. Yeah, I have to go against that for that very reason.
I do as well.
I think his observation is his, but I think the Senate of Maryland has to be very careful of who they bring in, because this individual may implement some of his mindset and what he's doing if he gets appointed.
And we don't want that. So this New York reject, go back to New York, buddy. That's what I got to say to that. And what I want to do is let's take a look at our first candidate for Barracuda of the Week. Well, cut one.
3 city schools have 0 students who tested proficient on the state math exam. That's 2,000 students across elementary, middle, and high schools. To speak with the mayor in person, however, without notice, Mayor Scott skipping an event that he was scheduled to speak at, and again, dodging our questions.
Are not caught up, but we're passing them. We're passing them, but they can't read.
The Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program revealing in at least 23 of Baltimore City schools, not a single student can do math at grade level, marking this city's math scores the lowest in the state.
He's not on the education that he is rightfully deserved. Like, this is more than just education. It was financial, it's mental, emotional. Like, I don't care what your title is. As a human being, what you're doing is wrong. So I hope they get fired.
Well, when you hear what the parents think, the education system, what's going on in Baltimore City, it's a mess of debacle. As a matter of fact, let's just jump to clip 2.
All right, folks, education advocates in Baltimore are demanding the city school CEO, Dr. Sonia Santelli, resign due to rising crime for education and failed leadership. Part of Baltimore's investigative efforts discovered that 41% of high school students earn a GPA of 1.0 or below. Advocates believe the education system has neglected the students and mismanaged funds. In one case, Tiffany Francis' son, a senior in Baltimore City schools, earned a .13 GPA. No, not a 1.3, a .13 GPA.
More public schools this season have highlighted much bigger questions. Outrage erupted last month after students found themselves in frigid classrooms when heating systems failed in at least 60 schools.
It's freezing cold.
John Gray is a sophomore at Baltimore City College, a selective admissions college prep high school. He says he had seen heating problems before, but nothing like this.
So, let's say I fail a class, I can go to coach class, I can study up. But if I come to school and there's no heat, I can't really go downstairs and cut the heat on. So it makes students feel like powerless.
We gotta protest and we gotta stand up for our kids as parents.
It's a jam-packed
school. I agree with you, and you should be able.
What sparked this heated outpouring?
He
images that went viral on social media in early January of children bundled in coats, hats, and scarves in aging classrooms, barely warmer than the frigid temperatures outside.
We simply cannot allow children to be punished year after year because their adult leaders are failing.
I was frustrated. I was angry. I was betrayed, misled.
Brian Whitener's 5-year-old daughter Jemiah is a pre-K student at Rosemont.
When you parents in this community or in any community wake up in the morning, the first thing they don't want to have to worry about is it safe for my child to go to school inside of the building?
Whitener and other parents.
Well, this is a situation we have. In the education system, you have Dr. Sonia Santelices. Dr. Sonia Santelices. Say it louder so everybody can hear. As far as I'm concerned, a complete failure. The woman should have been fired ages ago. She's still in there getting awarded. How can you award? She's getting awards. Can you believe this nonsense?
Well, I would say this first and foremost. The issue that went viral about the kids sitting in class with their coats on was a school where I'm the neighborhood president, Matthew Henson Elementary School. So I've been asking for her removal for at least 4 years because of that incident. But see, we had a second incident at Matthew Henson Elementary School. We also had water coming down out the ceiling, and on the first floor of Matthew Henson, we have our preschool and our kindergarten. Wow. We had the water problem, we had the heating problem, but then we also had the air conditioning problem. So I've been someone that has asked for her resignation for the last 4 years. That's before I had my stroke 2 years ago. I stood on her, the front of the school system headquarters and in writing asked for her to resign because I still feel today, this is Black History Month, we're near the end of it, but one of the things that angered me was that we have over 80% of our children in Baltimore City schools are African American. Our population is only in the 60s, but we have enrollment up to the 80s, and we're not teaching our kids their own history. That's an insult.
That's terrible.
So I've been one who has stood out a long time ago about her needing to be removed, and I did stand in front of the courthouse with the Mr. Giovanni and his wife in the request that had brought a civil rights attorney here to Baltimore, and all of us requested that she be removed. So I blame the mayor, I blame the members of the city council, I blame the senators. You're commending a woman and our children are failing. I spoke at Matthew Henson on Monday. I spoke at Bernard Harris' school on Thursday. The Bernard Harris School, only 2 of the kids passed the math exam.
That is ridiculous.
It's sad. So we have to speak out. But I think it's time for a recall of many of our elected officials.
I agree.
How did they commend a CEO and our kids are failing to the degree that they are?
Well, I agree. Dr. Sonia Santelices should get the boot. Get her out of there. Okay, now we're going to go to our next candidate for Barracuda of the Week. Okay, Rock, cut 3.
Globetrotting on the taxpayer's dime. Maryland's Chief Judge Mary Ellen Barbera and the state's top court administrator Pamela Harris jetting off together to India and China. Harris also visiting The Hague in the Netherlands. The combined visits costing taxpayers more than $26,000.
There's a lot of red flags raised here. There's a very thin line between an educational and learning opportunity that can bring that knowledge to the court and what is more a junket.
Through a spokesman, both Judge Barbera and Court Administrator Harris declined comment. The India itinerary included opportunities to go on a historic cultural tour in Chennai, sightseeing in Chennai, and Mahabalipuram. It also included a seminar comparing perspectives on India and the U.S. and one on legal systems.
To show that this was truly an educational opportunity, it's helpful for the taxpayers to see what was the agenda, a summary of what was learned, a short report.
The trip to China included visits to the Great Wall, Tiananmen Square, and the Forbidden City. The agenda scheduled a meeting with the People's Congress, the Women Judges Association, and the China University of Political Science and Law. The Maryland judiciary controls its own budget with no direct oversight. A year ago this month, the state court administrator sought permission to go to The Hague, approved the same day by Judge Barbera. The 11th Annual International Association for Court Administration Conference was held at the World Trade Center in The Hague. The invitation says, the conference offers the unique opportunity to learn about the different European legal systems and their respective court management approaches.
If they're going to have such extreme oversight over their own budget, certainly they need to back it up with transparency and procedures so that the taxpayers have the ultimate accountability.
According to a spokesman with the Maryland judiciary, neither the chief judge nor the top court administrator is required to write reports, brief staff, or share information gleaned from these overseas trips. And they haven't. In Annapolis, David Collins, WBAL TV 11 News.
Yes, that was a report by David Collins, WBAL, that was out a few years ago in regards to this trip, I guess, all over the place. China and the Netherlands and India, visiting a Great Wall, and $26,000 of taxpayer money. Now, the outsiders did send a communication and asking questions of Pamela Harris, state court administrator, and we did find out that she is retiring. So Pam's retiring. But the questions we asked, is there any particular reason why Ms. Harris is retiring? And this was sent to their communications people. We have received information from an employee advocate group, which has some very serious allegations in it concerning the Circuit Court for Baltimore City, which is under her jurisdiction. There are, I believe, 24, 25 circuit courts, and she is a state court administrator. Another question I will have, let's skip that one. It's about my producer. I'm getting back to him. But for confirmation purposes, has Ms. Harris, per David Collins of WBAL TV News, March 31st, 2017 report, been to India, China, and the Netherlands? And of course that was, they verified that, but what were the dates of the trips and how much taxpayer money, because David Collins is saying over $26,000, how much taxpayer money was spent for the trip? And here's the caveat, and have the funds been reimbursed? Have you paid the taxpayers money back, or, And also, does the Maryland judiciary control its own budget with no direct oversight? We had asked those questions, and this letter, we received this letter, Employees' Rights Matter Coalition. Looks like this letter was addressed to, the copy we have, to publisher and editor-in-chief of the Baltimore Sun, Triff Alatsis. I guess that's his name, Alatsis. I'll just read some of it real quick. There have been serious allegations made against the current clerk of the court, Marilyn Bentley. It looks like this letter was dated June 6, 2022. Employees' Rights Matter Coalition. Allegations have come to the attention of the advocacy group, Employee Rights Matter Coalition. And I'll read down here a little bit. The allegations included, but not limited to, are mismanagement, mistreatment, hostile work environment, discrimination, retaliation, harassment, unjustified demotions, intimidation tactics, threats, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, fiscal malfeasance, abuse of power, abuse of authority, COVID-19 crisis mishandling, extreme micromanagement, employees having to clean filth off walls. I don't understand that, but it's in this letter. Denying employees use of restroom facilities, falsifying records, discrepancy in pay and work hours, making false accusations. This letter from Employee Rights Matter Coalition, I guess they spoke with some employees who were either with or were with the circuit court, and it looks like state judiciary employees are scavenging for supplies throughout the courthouse. Employees are asking the question of how there can be such a lack of supplies when there have been administrative positions unfilled for at least 4 years. The estimated total figure of $675,000 in salaries would have been paid to the chief deputy clerk and the assistant chief deputy clerk of the court during this period. I mean, I don't know what's going on, fiscal malfeasance, so, and they're asking for transparency, and this was an Employee Rights Matter Coalition letter dated June 6, 2022, and we wanted to know if she had received that letter. So, I mean, Doc, what do you think of all this business?
Well, what troubles me in a lot of areas is the money that is being spent by federal, state, and city. I think really needs to look at how we are giving out money. You know, right now we are giving billions of dollars to the Russia war, but we have people here in America that are starving and having food apartheid problems. We have a mental health problem here in Baltimore City. We have 15,000 boarded up in vacant homes, and we have homelessness. You know, I really question the usage of money, whether it's federal, city, and or state, when you have problems within your own areas. In this particular case in Baltimore City, why are we spending millions and billions of dollars sending people outside of our state when we have not taken care of our own state and our own people that are living here?
That doesn't make any sense at all why we're doing that. I mean, we'll take a closer look at what's going on with this business. And I guess I'll just bring this up real quick. I have to go over this Clean Corp business, I-Team Baltimore. Looks like an article was done by I-Team Baltimore. City residents decry $1.3 million award to man in bankruptcy and foreclosure. Oh yeah, that's the AK-47 toting, cocaine dealing, well formerly, bankruptcy getting, AWOL jumping, $1.346 million getting. This is Christopher Robin, Winnie the Pooh, Urban. In this article, it looks like this Civic Fund Executive Director, Hai Soo Chung, she says this. I have read this previously, but I'll go over it again. Under our fiscal sponsorship agreement with the City of Baltimore, the city relies on our grant-making and account-making software and our, here's the kicker, this part gets me, financial and administrative experience. Well, if you've got all this financial and administrative experience, how did you let a guy like this in bankruptcy and foreclosure currently, and you're so experienced, and you're so financially savvy, how do you let this get through? Because that smells, something's not right with it. And it looks like here in this article, the mayor, the program has received criticism over its deployment of large sums of cash the city received from the American Rescue Plan Act. And it looks like it's a map here in this article. And the map below depicts the mayor's performance citywide. The deeper the red, the better he did. The black dots represent the 15 areas the Clean Core initiative is to take place ahead of the 2024 election. And these dots are in areas where the mayor did poorly. So the people getting the money are from the mayor in the areas that he didn't do well in during the election.
But I responded to that once I heard about it, because I'm in one of the largest community areas. I'm president of one of the largest in the Western District, which is Matthew Henson. And I noticed on that list that there were certain communities that were excluded. And I really think we need the staff of the Inspector General quadruple so she can actually have more people, because I really question how the money is being used for certain communities, and then other communities are left out. And if anything was clear to me what happened during the Freddie Gray riots, the community that got hit the largest was my own, but the Penn North is where all the money went. Well, there were 5 businesses that got hit during the Freddie Gray riots at Penn North. If you go west of Penn North, you come to Matthew Henson. We had 13 businesses hit, but all the money went to Penn North. So that points to me who was the state senator. And of course, state senator was Antonio Hayes.
So there we go again with this guy. Oh my goodness.
His name comes up quite often.
Oh boy.
Quite often.
Well, we're going to get to what's going on with the BGE, Board of Estimates, this hot mess. Rock cut for.
Very Sims has the story from City Hall tonight.
The mayor and BGE say under the agreement, Baltimore City will continue to own the conduit system. But some city leaders say that they have serious questions about the agreement and they're not getting the answers they need.
This was not done in the blink of an eye. We've been talking about this for months.
But not everyone is on board with a proposal involving the use of Baltimore City's underground conduit system and BGE. Council President Nick Mosby and Controller Bill Henry boycotted the Board of Estimates meeting today. Still, the mayor and 2 other board members passed the agreement.
This is a win for the city of Baltimore. Anyone saying anything else either doesn't understand it or doesn't want to understand it.
Even a former mayor is weighing in.
I don't care what kind of words he used. If you give him total control, we're only ownership in name only.
There was no meeting of the Board of Estimates this morning. The council president and I made a conscious decision not to attend.
The law department says under Board of Estimates rules, the meeting was scheduled. The missing members were considered absent and had no designees present.
We were able to move forward and we got this item approved with the required quorum, and it will stand.
Yes, that question was asked by yours truly at this press conference this past Wednesday. I got down there, the outsiders invaded that press conference. I got that question in, and yes, success ratio. It's about doing what you need to do for the citizens of Baltimore because they're getting the shiv by the mayor and these people, and it's about doing what needs to be done. And the mayor holding a Board of Estimates meeting to vote only a BGE item on the agenda when, in fact, there were, as information I'm getting, at least 6 other items on the agenda. One item included a vote to be taken on a settlement, and the Davis Johnson family. These people have been through a lot. I'm going to read a Baltimore Sun article real quick. Baltimore's Board of Estimates is poised to approve a $6 million settlement with the family of a man killed during a police chase by gun trace task force members. Those are the guys on it. What is it? That show they have on? We Own the City? Okay, they're doing about that. If approved, would become one of the most substantial settlements related to the rogue police force to date. The lawsuit filed by Shirley Johnson stems from a crash more than a decade ago that claimed the life of her father, Albert Davis Sr. Davis and his partner Fosa Kane were driving in the Grove Park neighborhood, West Baltimore, on April 28, 2010, where their car was hit by 2 men fleeing the city police, and it looks like that was up for a vote for the settlement. And what does the mayor do? Now, these people who keep talking about, Brandon's a nice guy, he's nice, Brandon's a nice guy. I'm going to get real right now. Listen up, okay? I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to scream and holler, but I'm going to shoot straight from the hip. This guy holds this meeting, gavels it in. They're saying it's illegal, not even, doesn't follow the rules of the BOE, etc., and proceeds to have a vote for this BGE debacle takeover, and leaves this, gets up, turns his back on this family that's been suffering for almost 13 years. They have their day, It's the Board of Estimates. And this guy gets up, leaves, and his family, the dad, grandfather, killed on the road, this gun, task force, trace force, whatever, chasing some guy. He's killed. And listen, I heard this. I was so disgusted. Brandon, that's what I'm going to call you. Slim Shady, listen up. You're not a man. You turn your back on these people, and they've been suffering. And I've been through that. I know what it feels like to have a loved one taken. And these people have been waiting all this time to get their moment. And all you care about, you selfish son of a nameless goat. You get up, and and you have your communications people, have them call me. They got my information. They got my number. They got my email address. I have their number. They have my email address. I have their email address. Have them call me. Talk to me. Man to man. Because as far as I'm concerned, okay, this nice guy business, you peeped your whole card, and you showed what you really are. And showed what you're really here for, and you do not care about the citizens of Baltimore to do something like that. And I've got other things that I could say, and we got to move on with this show. But what I have to say, you're not a man. You're a worm. You got that, Jack?
Well, the Board of Estimates unveiled a issue that we have to deal with as quickly as we can, and that means we're going to have to look at the law because, one, the way the Board of Estimates is written up today, what the mayor did, sadly enough, there's nothing unconstitutional about him having the 3 votes, and the 3 votes overrode the other 2, which was the comptroller and the president. So one of the councilmen is correct. They have to revisit the structure of the Board of Estimates. And if you look at the Maryland State Board of Estimates, it's only 3. So why should we give the mayor his vote and 2 others? He will always be able to override with the controller and the president. So we need definitely to look at that differently. And then, of course, the BGE issue also raised a red flag, because how does a mayor use his 2 additional votes to change or really implement anything that he wants, and you don't even need to have the controller or the president of the council even there. I looked at the guidelines. One of the areas that I teach is Robert Rules of Order, newly revised, chapter 12, and that is what they are doing is constitutional. But unfortunately, the Constitution can always be written and basically to the detriment of the people. The people need to change the Board of Estimates for Baltimore City. There only needs to be 3, the mayor, the president of the council, and the controller. Don't give the mayor's office 2 additional votes. I was the recipient of the Board of Estimates doing me an injustice to the tune of $20,000. BGE did damage to my Jaguar, and this was during COVID. BGE hired a out-of-town law firm to investigate. The girl that investigated my case had COVID. I don't know whether she's still living or she died. I lost $20,000 car because the city turned it over to BGE. BGE giving it to a lawyer firm, and then the lawyer firm attorney disappears.
Wow.
I lost $20,000 in my Jaguar.
That's ridiculous. I mean, the craziness that goes on here, and Doc, I mean, I feel for you with this nonsense going on. A lot of people are getting reamed with this thing, and that brings me to my 3rd candidate for Barracuda of the week. In voting for, and I digress, former Venable Law Firm employee. Now, wasn't Jim Shea, the former city solicitor, wasn't he from Venable Law Firm as well? That's interesting.
Not only that, he served on the Maryland Higher Education Commission that basically stopped us for 13 years getting money for the HBCUs because he was on the board of the Maryland Higher Education Commission. I went up against him for 10 years.
Okay, this knucklehead. Now, well, Ebony Thompson, the acting city solicitor, is our second candidate of Barracuda of the Week. Third candidate for Barracuda of the Week for fumbling the ball again and basically voting to sell the citizens of Baltimore City down the river by shackling them to this most unwanted deal. They voted against it, a deal that would negatively affect the city and very, well, maybe dare I say, the state. I want to read an article from the Baltimore Brew about this Ebony Thompson, Brown University Ivy Leaguer. I went to Brown University and I'm in a sorority. Who cares? I'm going to read the article. Last year, acting Baltimore Solicitor Ebony Thompson was wrong about the meaning of, quote, practice the profession of law for not less than 10 years, end quote, as a qualification for the position of city solicitor under the city charter. Now, this is from Baltimore Brew. Now, she is wrong, I guess again, about the meaning of abstention and quorum, quote unquote, as defined in the rules of the Board of Estimates. Despite her public comments to the contrary, there was no quorum at Wednesday's meeting. The doctor's saying a little something different. A meeting of the BOE, and that's what we need. You need to have debate. You need to talk things over, have debate, at which it purportedly approved on a 3-0 vote the controversial agreement negotiated by the Scott administration that cedes substantial control over the city's conduit system to BGE. Two of the five members of the BOE, Comptroller Bill Henry and City Council President Nick Mosby, as you heard earlier, boycotted Wednesday's meeting and did not send designees to their places. Now, here's a nonsensical interpretation. This is from the Brew. Henry and Mosby, as well as at least 6 other members of the City Council, had called on Slim Shady, Mayor Brandon Scott, Mr. 15%. It looks like he's losing weight. Have you seen, is it me? Is he losing weight? Is he getting slimmer and slimmer? Slim Fest or Slim Shady or something? He's standing next to Mackenzie Frost. We're going to get to that in a minute. And, I mean, she's petite. And his narrow shoulders are no wider than hers. But I digress. The mayor ignored their demands that he and his 2 BOE appointees, because he's got a stacked deck, Public Works Director Jason Mitchell. Hey, Jason, thanks for the vote, buddy. Thanks a lot. And Thompson, that's why she's up for Barracuda of the Week, voted to approve the contract. He's an appointee. She's an appointee, I guess, with these appointees. And it goes on to say quickly, knowingly giving incorrect legal advice to other elected officials in order to please the mayor would be a violation of a lawyer's professional ethics. So there you go. There you go. Okay.
Well, this is why, those of us who teach how to have procedure during meetings challenge some of the guidelines that the Baltimore City Council is using. Constitutionally, the City of Baltimore follows Robert Rules of Order. Right now, the edition that is in force is the 12th edition of Robert Rules of Order. A quorum for Baltimore City Board of Estimates is 3 of the 5. Has to be 3 of the 5. The mayor had 3 of the 5. Unfortunately, I think our controller and our president of our city council didn't know the best way to go about stopping the mayor having the votes, because otherwise the mayor is always going to have the majority of the votes, which is 3. So we need to change that constitution, but we need the city council to also look at what they do on a regular basis. You use a presiding officer, in this case the president of the city council. The president of the city council should make a tie or break a tie. However, Baltimore City, and this goes all the way back to Jody Landers, I had a discussion with him 20 years ago to tell him that they were not following Robert Rules of Order because you're having the president prejudice the board, and every time you have a city council meeting, the president of the city council votes first. Well, that's opposing Robert Rules of Order. The presiding officer should only vote when making a tie or breaking a tie. He is prejudicing, or she is prejudicing the council by voting first. Baltimore City has been doing this for over 20 years, letting the president vote first. Then when he expects the other members of the council to follow suit. Now, folks, you can check what I'm saying, whether I'm right or wrong, but the presiding officer should really only vote when making or breaking a tie, not to prejudice as they do every council hearing. He votes first. Well, he's prejudicing the city council.
You're correct, sir. That's exactly.
I teach Robert Rules of Order, who folks don't know it. Been teaching it more than 40 years. Baltimore City does not follow its own parliamentary procedure, which is Robert Rules of Order.
Well, they need to do that. And this thing, you have to ask yourself, why is Slim Shady so complicit in helping BGE increase rates? And also, why is the BGE rate hike so important that you would hold a meeting that may or may not have been illegal, certainly ill-advised, incorrect, against BOE rules, vote on one item, and then end the meeting turning your back on and completely disrespecting the Davis-Johnson family? Shame. That's shameful.
Well, we need to look at this, and this is how you do this. You look at where did the mayor get his funds from to run for office? Where did Jim Shade, the city solicitor, where did he get his funds?
Where?
The new lady that has gotten appointed, look and find out where have they received funding. And what you have to look at very carefully, look at their reports going to the Board of Elections and find out where they're getting their funds. Then what you do is you make a connection between the decisions they are making and where the money came from. Then you have rights for allegations that they have basically done something that they've been paid to do under the table. BGE, you will find, once you look at it, that they give money to certain people and they expect in return certain decisions in their favor. I think that's what's happened with the mayor. Mayor was a candidate along with Jim Shade running for governor and lieutenant governor. So they go way back. Those two go way back as to how Shade decided to use the mayor to run for lieutenant governor, and then they both not win, and then whatchamacallit becomes the mayor, and who gets the job? One of Martin O'Malley's boys, Jim Shade.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly, but pretty much what you said, Doc, and what I want to do, because we want to move along quickly, cut 5.
So know that this is politically silly season, and folks are going to say politically silly things, but that's not a fight that I'm going to get in.
Cohen also raising questions about an agreement he calls rushed. Mosby and Henry now calling on the Attorney General Anthony Brown to intervene and determine the legality of the board's actions.
Mayor Scott also appears to be fine with conducting business in a manner that abuses the power with which the people have entrusted him from a transparent and open and accountable government.
The mayor now simply responding.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. Good luck to...
Anything to gain personally from this contract?
Kinsey, that's the most disrespectful questions you've ever asked. No, I don't have anything personal to gain. I do what's right for Baltimore.
If you lose re-election, would you work for BGE?
Kinsey, two things for sure. I'm not losing re-election, and I'm not working for BGE.
He's vowing never to work for the company.
I'm never going to work for BGE. That's not what I do. I'm a public servant, and that's how I live my life.
Does that mean you are running for re-election? Is that a
No, I am.
Councilman Zeke Cohen plans to introduce a new bill. It would authorize a task force to recommend either reforming or abolishing the Board of Estimates. Cohen released this statement today, quote, "Key decisions about city finances should never be controlled by a single elected official. Public input is essential. Disagreement and debate lead to deeper truths and better outcomes for our city."
Well, you know what? This Mackenzie Frost, I'm going to give her a nickname. I'm going to call her the Blonde Bomber, because she bombs the living crap out of Slim Shady, Mayor Brandon Scott, and she just goes right for it. I'm thinking about making her, I don't know, I got to talk to Kim about this. I'm just literally on air saying this. I like her attitude, her spirit. I'm thinking about offering her, and she can take it or leave it, but I'm thinking about offering her an honorary position as an outsider, because she has the outsider spirit and the blonde bomber, Mackenzie Ross. She does, man. I want to say something quick about Zeke Cohen. Zeke, this is what's going to happen, Zeke. Now, if you're listening, or you have any of your friends listening, I know members of the city council listen to the show. Tell Zeke, the outsiders are going to be giving you a call. This is a holiday Monday, right? Okay. Tuesday, I guess 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock. We're going to be giving you a call to find out if you originated this idea, or you came up with this idea to change the board and do all this stuff. Because I'm getting information back that you don't have an original idea inside your head. And I'm going to give you a call, and the outsiders are going to ask you. So, you know, be prepared Tuesday, Zeke. Okay? And, Rock, you want to give Marlo Hargrove a call real quick?
Can I intercede something here? The issue dealing with the Attorney General is one that he does not, or that position does not have the authority to supersede what Baltimore City has done. What the citizens of Baltimore have to do, they have to sue legally the city with reference to the Board of Estimates issue. So it's not something that they can refer over to the Attorney General for Maryland. This is something the citizens will have to file a suit against the city and make a change in the Board of Estimates. But I contend the change needs to take place. And if you can, all you got to do is look at what's happening in the state of Maryland. There are only 3 people on the Board of Estimates. That's the same procedure that Baltimore City needs to use. It should not be giving the mayor 3 votes, because the mayor basically doesn't need the controller or the president of the council, even in the Board of Estimates meeting, because he always has the 3 votes. And believe me, he will fire his 2 appointees if they don't do what he tells them to do.
Yeah, goodbye. Do what I tell you to do. Okay, we got Marlo.
Citizens got to sue.
Marlo. Marlo.
Hello. Yes.
Hey, sir. How are you doing? I'm here with Doc Cheatham, my special guest co-host.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning to you both, and great blessings to you all.
Well, yes. What's going on? I know you guys got something cooking.
Oh, well, there's never a dull moment on this end. I'm actually out here in the field now trying to make some positive things happen, because we have so much negativity that we hear and that's being exposed. But the good don't seem to get no publicity, so...
No, we're here to give it to you.
Good fight.
No, we're here to expose, and we're here to get the good out of what's going on in your organization, and I know you guys have some things in the works and some things cooking.
Well, absolutely. Doc Cheatham, along with myself, we are working on some things for the community, because you know we're in a food desert, but we're actually working to expand the area over West Baltimore and be able to be a beacon of light for those who are in desperate need of our support.
Well, that's fantastic. You guys, do you have anything upcoming as far as getting that good news out and getting the good fight on? Because a lot of talk is fine, but the action needs to back up the words.
Absolutely. So the website is FACE Baltimore.org, and we're out there. We're actually partnered with the parole and probation for the youth, because it says a lot about the squeegee kids, but we're not just talking. We actually have programs designed to have them come in and not just tell them, but teach them. You know, not tell them, but teach them on how to change and rehabilitate themselves so they can become productive and get back to their communities that they're helping to destroy. So we have that. It's on our website at FACE Baltimore, and we're a reentry program. Again, like I say, partner with my friend Doc Cheatham to be able to be a blessing not only to the west side part of Baltimore, Sandtown, Winchester area, but along the whole Baltimore regional area.
Well, one, it is an honor to be working with Marlo. I'm trying to steal every idea he has. It says nothing wrong with knowing how to see things that are very successful and try to emulate them. All I can say that Marlo is a shining star for the entire city of Baltimore.
Yes,
This Tuesday at 6 o'clock at Matthew Henson Elementary School. That's where our community meets. We're the largest community in West Baltimore. Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association. We have the largest membership and largest density. We will announce this Tuesday at 6 o'clock that the Maryland Food Bank will be sending a representative to our community meeting. They will be informing our community that we will be approved to actually have an area in our community where we built our own park, and we will be able to have food delivered starting in March to our community. We have, I guess it's almost 7 communities that are in the same food desert area. We have Sandtown Winchester. We have the Midtown Emerson. We have the Harlem Park West. We have the Northwest Coalition. We have the Matthew Henson organization. We have the Bridgeview Green Lawn organizations. All of these organizations once had a food market. At this point, they no longer have it. So
that's ridiculous.
This partnering is what we should all be about, but I want to tell folks, I tip my hat out to Marlo and his great group. I'm happy to say they let me volunteer. I can't do much work. I'm still trying to walk and talk, but they let me help direct the traffic every second Tuesday because they're giving away food to people other than Marlo giving them food. These people may not even have any food.
Wow. Where do you come up with these food deserts and they're taking, you got to walk, over a mile or something, and you don't have the ability to get to the store, but you don't have any stores, grocery stores to get to.
Guess who's the senator of the largest area in the state of Maryland?
No, let me take a guess. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Listen to me, family. Guess who has the largest area?
Who?
Not in Baltimore, but in the state of Maryland that has food deserts.
The largest.
Antonio Hayes, the senator.
Again with this guy. Here we go again with him.
Antonio Hayes.
Oh,
we just lost the food market price right down in the Bigtown area. They lost their food market in December.
That's a shame.
And all of these areas, most of the areas, there is one in East Baltimore with the Oliver community. There's one in Cherry Hill with their particular area. But the largest area in the state of Maryland, not just the city of Baltimore, that is in food desert is under Antonio Hayes. And in my understanding, he's looking to get one of the most affluent communities, which I understand is Reservoir Hill. The word is they're trying to give these rich folks a food market when we in the Sandtown Winchester area have been starving for 8 years.
Well, see, that's why it's so essential in mentioning that we continuously come together as we have, because again, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? And we cannot depend on our senators and delegates and people and the politicians to be able to help do for us what we is that we're doing ourselves, and we need additional support. Although Doc Cheatham, along with the base organization, we're doing a lot of great work, but we need more help. We need more support. We need to rally behind and with each other so we can expand the services to help us help others. And that's why, again, I can't stress enough that it's so essential that together we can do more, and we need your support. So if you're listening, and thank you for the outsiders who are able to put information out there, that we can get the help and support we need, because it's not about us just getting on a radio station and talking about what we're doing, but what we can do together collectively. We can touch more lives and help more people.
Exactly. So, I believe, Marlo, you're right on point with that. I believe that words should be followed by action. Don't sing it, bring it.
That's right.
Yes. Don't sit back and keep complaining about what's happening and what's not happening and what they're doing and what they're not doing. But what are we doing?
Exactly.
What are we doing? We're in the trenches. We're fighting a good fight, but we need more soldiers. and to be able to do more so that we can help each other to utilize the services that are there. We're talking about the food. We're actually providing coats. We're providing hats and gloves and socks and additional things that we need in order to help our people. So who need help? We do. So let's start helping each other and start talking about each other and begin to build organically.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with that, Marlo, and thanks for calling, because Marlo comes on the show. He's a regular on the show, and we love the fact that he comes on. He tells the truth. He tells it like it is, and they do need help. You need help.
Yes.
You need backup.
Help needs help too.
Exactly.
Yes.
We want to get that for you through the Outsiders and our venue, and we want to keep plugging away. But Marlo, thank you for your call.
My pleasure.
Okay.
My pleasure. I thank you all and continue to do the great work that you all are doing, and just know we're there to help support you as well.
Okay, thank you,
sir. The African proverb is, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. And that's what this case is. When you come together, you know, we all different. We come from different communities, different walks of life. But when we come together, set aside our differences. Yes, we're going to have differences. I tell folks, I used to disagree with my mother, but I wouldn't tell her. So we're going to always not always agree on everything, but we're going to find we have more in common than we do in different with each other. We got to come together, because nobody's going to help us but us.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Marlo. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Love you, my brother. Love you.
Love you back. I'll be in touch. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Okay,
take care.
Peace. All right, thanks.
Wow, that's something else. We do have to keep plugging along, going along, not going along to get along, but we have to keep going along the route. We have to keep running that route to get things accomplished. And it looks, Jimmy from Hamden, we have a call from Jimmy from Hamden. Hello? Hello, caller. Hello? What happens sometimes?
Hey guys, it's Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
It's going well. I want to talk about this embarrassment to the city.
Okay.
My city of Baltimore.
Okay. So.
The embarrassment. You know, Brandon Scott. I was born and raised here, lived here my whole life, and this guy is a disgrace. He's a horrible, terrible mayor. He's a disgrace. Crime is up. He promised that crime would be reduced. Prices up. And I'm hearing there's going to be a rate hike on BGE after this deal that he's trying to shove down our throats. We don't want this deal. After this deal is done, there's going to be a rate hike.
Rate hike 3 years in a row. A minimum of 5% each year.
He's selling the city out to BGE cronies, and everyone knows it. He's a joke. He's a joke, man. He's a clown. He looks like a clown. And he dresses like a clown. And the way he treats the city, he doesn't care about the people. He's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to the city. And it's going to cost people a lot of money. A lot of money. Food prices are up, gas prices are really high. Eggs cost $7 to $8 a carton. And now this clown wants to shove BGE down our throats. And he thinks he's going to be mayor again? He thinks he's going to be mayor again and win the election? I mean, unless it's fixed. Because people, they do not like him. He's a clown. He's delusional. Sean, you're right. He's got to go. That's all I have to say. He's got to go.
The question begs to be asked. Did the mayor in his campaign...
You got to be done as the day is long. In the middle of summertime.
Campaign received
funding
from BGE. That's the question that has to be asked.
For these efforts and forcing this meeting and not having all the people there and forcing the meeting the way he did and this voting. This is terrible. He's got to go. He's a clown. Okay, guys.
Okay.
I've got to go.
Okay, Jimmy.
Keep shooting straight.
Okay.
Take care.
Jimmy from Hamden. Well, I have to agree. I mean, I've been saying that for weeks. If he was in the corporate world, they would have fired him. If he was in the corporate world 6 months and no more, they would have got rid of Slim Shady. They would have canned him.
But here's one of the things we need to look at. We were very successful in getting over 70% of citizens in Baltimore to vote for term limits. This is phase 2 that's about to come up next. And that's going to be something called recall. That once you elect the people and you're not satisfied with their actions, You shouldn't have to wait 4 more years to put them out of office.
Get them out.
So what we need to start discussing and educating ourselves. What is recall, so you will understand when it comes on the ballot.
Exactly.
We're hoping and praying it comes on the ballot for the next election on 2024 that we will have recall. Because I would say 3/4 of the members of the city council need not be reelected.
I agree wholeheartedly, and we're getting ready to wrap up the show. It was something else, Doc, but here we go, because we're at the end. Barracuda of the week. We didn't forget. The Barracuda of the week. Can I get a drum roll or something? You have something to, Okay, here we go. Barracuda of the week goes to Dr. Sonia Santelises for miserably failing the children of Baltimore City. I don't care about your awards. Okay, Sonia. They awarded her this horrible performance. Should have been canned years ago. CEO of the Baltimore City Schools, you are the Barracuda of the week. And like I said, I'm going to balance it out. I've got 2 ladies of excellence of the week. The first goes to, for her guts and saying the truth, State Senator Mary Washington for standing up to Slim Shady. For standing up to Slim Shady. Mayor Brandon Scott, and a special lady of excellence, Ms. Barbara Bowman, with 42 years of service at the Circuit Court for Baltimore. 42 years of service. She passed away this past week.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And special, I believe she was 83 years old or so. A very special lady, and she gets this Lady of Excellence of the Week mentioned, along with Mary Washington, State Senator Mary Washington. So the Bowman family, prayers go out to you and condolences.
We also want to give condolences to the family. One of the founders of the Baltimore Black Panther Party. We lost Eddie Marshall Conway the day before Thanksgiving. Eddie spent 44 years in jail. He passed away this week, and he was one of the founders of the Baltimore Black Panther Party. 2 of my fraternity brothers, of course, founded the Black Panther Party. That was Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seals. So those were the founders of the Panther Party. And Eddie Marshall Conway was the founder of the Baltimore branch of the Black Panther Party.
Well, condolences as well. And it is Black History Month. And we had some two very important people pass away. And the Outsiders, thank you all for listening, for being here with us. Don't forget YouTube. Don't forget to tell your friends, the Outsiders. We have the inside information. And we want to thank you all. God bless and take care. God bless.